Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich with your Witchy Book Club series. We are going through Chapter 4 of the Outer Temple of Witchcraft by Christopher Penzak. If you do not already have your copy, go into the description box below. For one, what are you doing? For two, go into the description box below and get your copy. It is an Amazon link. I do suggest you buy it from a small business seller, a local store, witchy store, if at all possible. But it is an Amazon link, so you can get it shipped fast and possibly free with Prime, I guess. I don't know. We are going through Chapter 4. It is entitled The Rule of the High... the role of the priestess and priest. But before we go any further, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your beverage, whatever it may be. Sit on back, relax. I'm going to go through some particulars. For one, I have very little of my cappuccino left. So I'm going to be a little sparing on that. This should not be a long video, for one, because this is a very, very short chapter. I think it's, 6 pages? Not a long chapter at all. Okay. The particulars. If you're not yet subscribed, if you're part of the 20 to 30% of people who are not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button right over here. Hit that bell notification so YouTube may or may not possibly send you a notification of when these videos get posted and whatnot. So you can always see whenever I post videos and whatnot. It might work, it might not. Take your chances, and it appeases the algorithmic gods of YouTube, as well as hitting that like button or dislike button. Either way, make your voice known. Hit those buttons, it appeases the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. Also, if you want to support this channel, you can go ahead into the description box below. There is a link to my eBay store if you would like to purchase something on eBay. Helps me out, helps me get some extra monies to be able to help grow this channel and whatnot, and some other projects that I'm doing in the background. Yeah, not going there yet. What else? Join me for 5 days a week. We have tomorrow the Witchcraft in the Bible series for our Christo-Pagan Sunday. We have that coming out. It is the final part in the Witchcraft in the Bible series that we are going through. We have on Tarot Talk Tuesday, I think we're at the 2 of Wands. I keep on wanting to say swords. I said wands, though. Almost said it, though. Let's see, and Witchy Wednesday, we are talking about pendulum work with the chakras. And then I think the following week, we're actually just going to talk pendulums in general. I made a video a long time ago about pendulums, back whenever I first started my channel. And yeah, I haven't made one since, like an update video or anything. And my pendulums are still hiding on me. I don't know where they're at. I'm kind of getting a little pissed, frankly, that they have been hiding this long. I have a couple of cubby areas that I need to check to make sure that they're not hiding in those. Yeah, so that's definitely a thing that's going to have to happen. Excuse me. As well as, let's see, I have off Sunday and Monday this week. So definitely some work that's going to happen in the witchy room, because you can't see down here. Well, you can kind of see I have a whole stack of books there that I've moved because I put something in here I will go ahead and share this. I have an electric typewriter, like an old school from the 80s word processing typewriter, that I actually used for whenever I did, and I don't have it here right now, my script for the special report of whenever I was sharing about my job and everything. And I typed everything up. It was really cool. It was really wild. I had fun. But I want to use it a little bit more in my spell work and whatnot. And I'll share more on that in the future, because that's a whole nother series that I want to do, but I'm nowhere near ready to start doing that yet. Yeah, nowhere even close. Let's see. But yeah, Sunday and Monday I will be cleaning in here. So hopefully, let's send out all the good energy. And yes, I have written on my hand here, on my left hand, notes from work and whatnot. Not something I always do, but it's my own personal Palm Pilot. So if you see that and you're worried that that's like colloidal silver or something like that, making my skin blue, no, it's not. Don't take that shit. It's poison. Let's see. Oh, that's what I was saying. If you can send out any good energies to find my pendulums, they should all be in like one pouch together, I do believe. But they usually don't go hiding this long, and I'm starting to get a little irritated that they're playing these games with me. So any help that you can be, it would be much appreciated. I almost said muchly. Who says muchly? Really? That's not even a word. If it is a word, let me know in the comments below. I don't think muchly is a word. Anyway, this is a lot of rambling. And join me on Thursdays for our Table Talk Thursday. No clue what our card will be. Almost flipped this up, but I don't have the lid on it. There. Okay. Whenever we draw from our table topics cube, all that good stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into chapter 4, the role of the priest, priestess, and priest. Like I said, I don't have many notes on this, but I do have some rants. Little rants, I guess. Positive rants. Discussions, I guess you would say. One might say this. In the grandest of traditions, we are going to go with the first sentence and see how it starts. See how it starts out the chapter for us. And it reads, this is on page 43 of my copy. The second degree of witchcraft usually bestows the title of priestess or priest upon the initiate. Okay, I like the way that he goes into this, but he didn't really say anything about the initiatory phase, I don't believe. Let me go back into other chapters here, because I just finished reading this. This is Friday night that I'm reading this, and I have work tomorrow, so I wanted to kind of get through this so I didn't have to do it tomorrow morning before work. We have the Ethical Witch, Foundations of Magic. Not really anything on in Sacred Space and Circle. Nothing really on the initiate themselves. So bringing up the second degree of witchcraft straight out the gate is kind of dicey. I like this chapter. I really do. I think it would have served a little bit better having the initiate portion covered in here. However, he does cover that type of stuff in the Inner Temple of Witchcraft, because you are basically becoming an initiate in that one. So, as a part of the overall course, I think it is fitting, the first line in here. But for somebody that's just picking this up as a one-off study book, you really need to go back and read the Inner Temple first, because that's how this course is set up for him. Or within his course of study. So, overall good for an independent book. A little bit of a hairy situation. Okay. We move on, though. We are all our own clergy. And I'm going to agree with this, and I'm going to go on later on about clergy and whatnot. He goes on to say another sentence over or down. No one can really be your intermediary with spirit. I think this is absolutely true. I think anybody that is following a witchcraft type of tradition or a path of witchcraft, I think that you are your own conduit to the divine. And I think that is something that needs to be realized, especially earlier on, and might be a little bit more difficult for somebody to realize if they come from a Catholic background, because in the Catholic tradition, you have an intermediary between you and the divine. So it might be a little bit more difficult for somebody that is coming from a Catholic background, that you essentially are your own priest, uh, or, bishop, cardinal, whatever. However, for somebody like me that came from a Protestant background, even though it's an evangelical Protestant type of background, and I was more evangelical than necessarily the church that I came from. So, yeah, let me fix my necklace there. Okay. Presentation. Um, but yeah, I was more evangelical than the church that I went to. So I always had that sense of, we go straight to deity ourselves. We don't need a priest, minister, reverend, pastor. We don't need them to go to God for us. We can do that ourselves, and that has always been my position, and that's where I've always been in my practice. Let me turn this. I think I'm going through the volume a little on the loud side there. Hopefully that's a little bit better. I'm just watching the volume here, and let me turn it down just a little bit more. That should be a little bit better. Okay, but anyway, from the Protestant background that I have, um, I always was of the mindset of, you can go to deity yourself. You don't have to have a priest or pastor or anybody going on your behalf. There, I'm turning it down just a little bit more. I'm sorry about messing with the volume. Usually I do this ahead of time. I repositioned the mic here a little bit, so hopefully it's a little bit easier to, um, a little bit easier, a little bit more dampening of the background noise and whatnot. But we move on. On page 44, under the title, What Does It Mean to Be a Priestess or Priest? And he catches me off guard here, because usually it's priest or priestess. And he catches me off guard here whenever he says priestess or priest. It's those little things of trying to combat the patriarchal mindset of men always being first. And I understand that, and I get that, and I fully support this. However, it still messes with my mind sometimes whenever I'm reading it. We're moving on. He writes, being a priestess or priest is an individual practice, just as witchcraft is. But the core concept is to become your own clergy. No one is your intermediary. This is what I was saying before. So we're going to move on a little bit. Being your own clergy comes with a measure of responsibility, and I'm going to jump around here. Becoming clergy, even in traditional covens, means you become your own leader rather than a follower. Fully agree. You become the embodiment of your own clergy member. You have only yourself to go to in order to know what's right or wrong, knowing where you stand on a particular issue. So you are the final decision on this. You are your own pope. You are your own cardinal, bishop, monsignor, priest, pastor, what have you. You are it. So you are no longer a follower. You are solely a leader. Whether you are in your own tradition, or if you are leading a coven of others. And once once the people who are your followers get to the point that they themselves are second degree, and taking up the mantle of priest or priestess, or priestess and priest, or what have you, that's not at all gendered. If that is a mantle that you want to take up, I think we should come up with a name for it, but I don't think I'm the type of person to gatekeep those terms. And I fully I give that mantle, not that it's mine to give, but I I throw down that gauntlet to you. Let's put it that way. What would we call somebody who is non-gendered or gender fluid? Um, what would be the appropriate term of priestess or priest for somebody that is non-gendered? And I mean this absolutely sincerely. I know the final answer is going to be, whatever they want to be called. But is there a non-gendered term out there that I am not aware of that people are taking up for the slot of priestess or priest? If somebody knows, please let me know, because I would like to know this. We're gonna move on. Yeah, I got a little bit of a cough. It's the cappuccino. It goes to the back of your throat. It's disgusting, but still. Anyway, moving on to page 45. A part of this responsibility comes from your own magical, or from, let me start this over again. A part of this responsibility comes from our magical awakening to the unseen and our relationship with nature. Moving on down the paragraph here. With this awakening comes a sense of caretaking and stewardship. Fully agree. When you have the knowledge of something, that you can do something, you have the responsibility to do something. And I mean, that's kind of like in our Declaration of Independence as Americans, that if you have the power to do something, you have the responsibility to do that. So I mean, that's something that holds true to me, not only as a magical practitioner, but also as a person who is in this country, who has served in the military and is still serving in the military, to take up that mantle and take responsibility for the world around you. I want to move on here. I don't want to belabor some of these too much, because I have a further discussion further on in this video. He says, much of the craft of the witch, ancient and modern, is in taking care of others. Witches were the first doctors, nurses, and midwives, all rolled into one. They were the first ministers and counselors. They were the first religious leaders. And he goes on from there. I think this is something that needs to be paid attention to a little bit more, especially in modern society, whenever we, especially if we are taking up the mantle of clergy, of somebody that is spiritually attuned, that we need to kind of, look at the history of where we come from, that we were these integral parts of humanity, and kind of have a little bit of pride in there. Not, I don't want to say that we should slough off the stuff that is horrendous in the name of the clergy or on behalf of clergy members. We should definitely call those out, but we should also honor those parts of ourselves that harken back to the doctors, nurses, midwives, pharmacists, ministers, counselors, people who were integral in daily society of ancient times, the people who guided hunting and agriculture, the people that constructed the temples, the people who guided the tribes and whatnot. When we take up the mantle of clergy, we are those individuals now. We have taken their place in this society, and we need to act accordingly. Moving on. Modern witches have reclaimed this sense of stewardship for the earth. We do not own the world. We are caretakers, and we have not been doing a good job. Yes, totally agree. And I want to read this other one, then I'll rant a little about it. Spiritual seekers need to see the wisdom in all cultures and apply that to the world. Okay, a little bit of a rant here. Um, First off, yes, we need to do a better job of taking care of this world. Um, we, and I mean we as a society in general, have been doing a shit job. We have been doing a terrible job at being caretakers for this world. Now, one thing that gets me is, do I want to? Yeah, okay, fine. I got into an argument with a cousin of mine. Facebook argument, side argument here, um, or side rant, sidebar. I got into an argument with one of my cousins about the infrastructure bill and whatnot, and he's talking about how much it's going to cost, blah blah blah, all that crap. Real right wing, and all of this was in response to a post that he posted that was false, about some cancel culture of somebody that's running against Elon Omar. I, I think I'm mispronouncing that, and I do apologize. Um, but my cousin was posting something that was false about the person that is running against her, and I told him, I said, here's the stuff that I found about this. She was legit making threats against her. And you can see all the tweets and everything. She was banned from Twitter, all that stuff. And I told him, I said, you can easily find this. Oh, I'm not as tech savvy. I said, I found it in a 2-second Google search by just searching the name Omar. What did I put in there? I said, Representative Omar, um, congressional race or something like that, opponent. And I put in Twitter. I said I did a simple Google search with a name and the word Twitter. And I found the tweet that they were referring to that got her kicked off. And he says, well, I'm not as tech savvy. And then I said about infrastructure bill with the broadband and all that. And he's complaining about the budget and whatnot. And it got out of hand there. So I said to him, I said, we could make this country, this world better for the next generation. I'm sorry that I'm, building a little bit of a debt to the grand scheme of things, but in the end, it's going to benefit the rest of our society to further them. Because if we're doing distance learning, and it's going to be easier for college or high school graduates to go to college to get a degree, if they need to do it over the internet because they cannot travel or because they have hardships financially and whatnot, if they can take these classes online, they can further educate themselves, which only benefits society. And I said, this is how we're going to leave things for the next generation. Yeah, you might have been fine, but this is a new world that we're going into, and we have to be plugged in. And I said, you have to make this world better for the next generation. Otherwise, we leave them with crap. And he just ended up not responding to me anymore, because I'm guessing either he felt defeated and slinked off and just did not want to continue the argument because he knew that he would fail. But anyway, I tell this side story as a reasoning of we are caretakers to this earth. There are so many people that are in this disposal culture, and I'm not exempt from it. I mean, I used to use handkerchiefs. I got Kleenex now. I could go. What are you doing, Jelly? she's playing with something. It's crazy. She's making all kinds of noise back there. Hey, come here. Come here. What are you doing? Oh, you're playing with a blanket. She is playing with a blanket that is on the chair over there. It's adorable. Anyway, as you can see around me, I have books galore. You know, how much paper is that? I could go digital. I could definitely read digital books. I don't find them as enjoyable because it's harder for me to read a digital book, but I could do that. I could make that sacrifice. I'm not exempt from these things. But I am against overall the disposal culture that we have of use it once, throw it out. Because after all, like he says here, we are caretakers and we have not been doing a good job of it, of taking care of this earth. And that's something that I see a lot with the evangelical community is, oh, you know, we're all gonna die someday and then we'll go to heaven and it'll be all great and everything. Well, you know what? Doesn't mean you have to leave the rest of us in this world of crap. Doesn't mean that you don't take care of what you say your deity has given. So what the hell? You're not taking care of what he's given you. So, I mean, it's one of those things that it's I have to turn the mirror on myself because I know that I'm not the best at taking care of this world, and I need to make more of an effort to practice what I preach here. So I had to do some editing there. I had a little coughing fit. We're all good. We're good. Okay. The next thing I wanted to see or to talk about was spiritual seekers need to see the wisdom or to see the wisdom in all cultures and apply that to the world. Okay, this is something that I am big on. In every religion that I study, I need to be able to pick out something that is absolutely beautiful in that religion, in that practice, in that spiritual mindset. Whether that's, you know, a creation myth, which I kind of love them. I think they're interesting as all hell. So, if it's something in a creation myth, if it's something in the way that you live a day-to-day life, if it's something in the way that you practice, the rituals that you keep, the traditions that you have, in the prayers that you speak, the way that you join in community in some way, shape, or form, I will find something beautiful in all religions, and that is one of my hard set rules. Is I need to be able to find that in a religion. Because if somebody finds joy in a religion, I want to know what it is that they find joy in, and seeing the joy that, or the uniqueness, the precious part of a religion, seeing what is the precious part of that religion to the individual practitioner is important to seeing what ultimately connects us all, and that's in what we believe and how we practice and how we live our daily life. And I think it's beautiful in the majority of religions out there, but I will always find something in every religion, at least that I've studied so far, that is beautiful in its own right, that I can say connects us together. Now I got an itchy nose. I just can't film today. I will say that whenever it comes to cults, like the Heaven's Gate or Jonestown or something like that, I study them more as more as a cult in and of itself than as an individual religion. Um, and basically because of their outcome. And studying them as a religion, I think, gives them a little uh, too much sway and validity in their actions, in their in where they've become in our lexicon of of religious studies. So yeah, I tend to study cults more as cults than as religions. And that would be the reason why. There's a lot of baggage that comes along with a cult that doesn't necessarily come along with just a standardized type of religion like Buddhism or Judaism or Christianity or something like that. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of baggage with some of those, with many of those, but with cults, you're literally talking about somebody that has spurred people into a frenzy, got them to believe, and then sometimes, end their life. Okay, moving on to page 46 here before I I totally, you know, go hoarse from coughing. Ultimately, priestesses and priests are servants to the greater good, to the cycles of nature, to the community, and to the divine. Okay, this is the part that I want to do my rant. Because, as many of you probably know, I am an ordained minister. When I first got my ordination back in 2006, it's been a hot damn minute. I have since taken it very seriously. Um, the marriages that I perform, which aren't many, I haven't done many marriages. I've done one funeral. Uh, I have I have not taken confession. That's not necessarily something of my practice, but if somebody wants to confess something to me, I am still legally bound by the laws of, you know, of an ordained minister to a follower of sorts, if you want to call them that, to somebody seeking a clerical help. I would still bind myself to a confessional type style of you don't speak of what is spoken about. And it is something that I've always taken very seriously, that I have a responsibility to the people that I interact with to act in the most upstanding way that I can. And not necessarily, acting like somebody different or acting more righteous than somebody or acting, more moral than somebody, but at least trying to act in a genuine manner and having an empathy for others, to be able, or to be a person that is there for others in a caring manner, in a humanist type of manner, to be there for them in a time of need or in a time of just general want. If they want somebody to listen to them, just to vent, they can call on me and I will be there. And it's like, hey, can you not like spread this? And this is a confession that I'm making to you. Don't tell anybody. Okay, yeah. Now, with that, I will also give advice, because if you're going to have me listen to your confession, I'm also going to give you advice, and I'm going to give you possibly homework to do, and some of that homework may be to deal with this shit. Again, this isn't being more morally right or being more upstanding in your way of life. It's just being more genuine and being there for an individual. And I think whenever it comes to taking on that mantle of priestess or priest, you are also taking up that mantle of being a servant to others, to the greater good, to cycles of nature, as he says in here, and to community and to the divine. When you take up that mantle of priestess or priest, it is not something that you should take lightly or do frivolously. I see people, they're like, oh, I got ordained. Ha, yeah, I'm a Jedi Knight or Master or whatever. You know, and Jediism is a real practice. Um, but, uh, you know, I see people take that as a joke. And it's something that really irritates me because for us who don't take it as a joke, who take it as a serious calling to be there for somebody else in their time of need, whether it's something you want to do or not, this is what you signed up for, or this is what you have had on, you know, placed on you as a calling to do for others. And I think it's something that should be taken very seriously. Because people are going to come to you with the most horrible problems in their life. They're going to come to you in a time of need. I don't know if you guys remember in 2014 when a friend of mine died. I wasn't planning on going to the funeral. She was down in Kansas. And her grandmother was on the phone with me. I called to check up with them. She died on a Monday. I called her on a Wednesday. She says, you know, she wanted you to do the funeral. I had everything together. I was down there by Friday. I had extended my military leave, I was on leave already. I had a week of vacation time, and I extended that. I wrote the eulogy before going down. I rewrote it on the way down. Um, you know, had Coda with me, had my neighbor watch Jelly and Houdini at the time. And yeah, I went down there. I drove 24 straight hours down to Kansas. This is the type of mantle that you are taking up when you are taking the mantle of priestess or priest. And uh, I really want to see people take it more seriously, um, and treat it with the respect that it is due, because you are the tastemaker of society now. You are the person that people are going to come to not only for advice but for words of wisdom, and to find words of beauty in all religions, and be there to laugh with them and cry with them and hold their hands at the funeral, and you know, marry them, and you know, celebrate these immense milestones with them, of human existence. You are now that person, and you should take that seriously. Um, I went a little too long on my rant there, but as you can tell, this is something I'm very passionate about. And some people do this, you know, get ordained online stuff frivolously, which I did. Not necessarily taking it frivolously, but I got ordained online. I took it as a very serious act, that this is something that's going to happen. It's changing my life, in the course of my life forever. And I was okay with that. And I still am. Um, and I just wish more people would take that seriously than just signing up to be a pastor or minister or priest, whatever. I wish they would take it a little bit more seriously than they do when they do it. Um, Certainly, some people do it just to be able to perform a wedding for somebody, and you know, that's one thing. But if you're doing it just to be funny, yeah, no, this is something serious that some of us take very, very seriously, because it is something that we do on behalf of society, and we try to make the world around us a better place. Excuse me. Yeah, I didn't drink enough before doing this. On page 47, he talks about the year and a day. He does say that these books, this book in particular, I think the Inner Temple as well, that they're laid out to do within a year and a day. Obviously we're not following those confines and whatnot that he has set forth, and I'm okay with that. I think treating this as a book study, and if you want to do this as a year and a day study, have at it. You can come back every month and watch these videos one at a time every single month during your year and a day study. No problems at all. I think that is fantastic, and I will be there for you, you know, until we finish this series, apparently, because everybody wants to finish this series instead of going on to another author and another book, which is okay. I laugh because the Inner Temple was a little grueling to get through after a while. It got a little draining in certain parts. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't, no, I can't relate to this. I mean, and you can pick up those chapters, like the one where he was talking about the basically the Matrix style of our universe and whatnot, and I could not get into it. I could not agree with it, because probably more so because my head won't. I can't fathom it in my head. It's too much of a concept for me. I can't get my head around it, and maybe my head's in the way, but I just can't. Not that it's not a valid theory. No, I can't. So, yeah, it got grueling in some places. Outer Temple so far is a lot easier to go through. I am really enjoying this. This is more the physical stuff anyway. So, anyway, yeah. Apparently, we're going to go through the entire series of the Temple series. I think I have all the books. If I don't, I have most of them, and I'll order the one or two that I'm missing. Anyway, I think I'm missing one. I think I'm missing one of the volumes of The Living Temple. Anyway, we have some homework. Reflect on what it means to be a priestess or priest of witchcraft. Complete exercises 1 through 4 if you haven't already done so. Record your experiences in your journal/book of shadows. Complete exercise 5, which is an initiation ritual. Keep a regular journal as either part of your book of shadows or separately. Record your magical experiences, dreams, and day-to-day life. See how your magic becomes part of your daily life. I will say that as far as my journaling has gone downhill since starting part-time, because I'm doing training and all that. But hopefully once I'm on my own again, I can actually sit there and journal a little bit. Or once I fully go part-time, once I'm out of the training time, I can set aside a little time every morning to journal. It's something that I actually really miss about working with the old company, because once I went out on the property, I did what I needed to do in the morning, and I did my daily run through of everything. I could sit back and relax until somebody called or came in to rent a storage unit space, and I could sit there and journal. I would do usually a page or so, but it's something that I actually miss doing, and I haven't done it in a while, and it's something that I haven't had time at work to do, and it's a little bit difficult for me to do it at home, just because it's like finding the space, finding the time. We have a puppy, we have cats that are adjusting to said puppy, that it just hasn't been feasible. And I know I'm making up excuses here, but that's what my life has been like the last couple weeks. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's all that I have. Again, join me you know, 5 days a week. Sunday is tomorrow. Well, yeah, tomorrow. We have our last part of the witchcraft in the Bible. I was going to say Inner Temple of Witchcraft, but that's not right. We have our last part in the series of the witchcraft in the Bible. We have the Two of Wands on Tarot Talk Tuesday. We have Pendulums on Witchy Wednesday. Do send good vibes and energy for me to find where my pendulums are hiding. Let's see. Table Talk Thursdays, we'll draw from the Table Topics Cube as per usual. And then join me next week for Chapter 5. Now, I will say that I have to do the exercise 4, I think, right? Yes. The motivation exercise. So exercise 4 I do have to do before next week, and I'll probably end up doing exercise 5 as well. So anyway, yes, I have some exercises to do. Probably going to do them Sunday since I have it off. Yeah, I think that's going to be my plan. Well, maybe Sunday night. So yeah, because I have Monday off, so I might do those Sunday night. But Sunday during the day, I have some yard work that I need to take care of to keep the puppy safe. I have stuff in the backyard that needs to go to a scrapyard. So, and she's currently like playing around it like it's a jungle gym, and I'm like, no, you need to not do this. So anyway, that's all that I have for this part of our Outer Temple of Witchcraft Witchy Book Club series by Christopher Penzak. Remember to go ahead and get your copy by going to the link below, and do all those other things down there that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye.